A big hello and a big welcome to all of you joining me here for the first ever episode of Crypto Tales by CoinSwitch Kuber. I'm your host Jatin Sapru, and over the next few weeks and episodes, we together embark on a journey to the fascinating world of cryptocurrencies. लेकिन इससे पहले कि मैं अपने पहले गेस्ट को शो पे इनवाइट करूं, we're going to offer you some mind-boggling stats, and this is what we'll do through all the shows. This is our crypto trivia. Bitcoin first came into prominence in 2009, but it was only in 2010 it was used for the very first time for a transaction or a purchase. Laszlo Honietz, a Bitcoin miner, had about 10,000 Bitcoins accumulated into his account. So one fine evening, he went onto the forum and said, "Is there anyone who's willing to trade my Bitcoins in return for a pizza for his daughter?" In fact, for 10,000 Bitcoins, he didn't just get one pizza, he got two! When you do the conversion, one Bitcoin today is close to $50,000. That comes to roughly 40 lakh rupees. So that means that if you backtrack, the first Bitcoin to dollar conversion can be pegged at a tiny fraction of a cent to a Bitcoin. But सालों के बाद, Laszlo was asked, "Do you feel bad about this transaction?" He said, "No, I love my pizza और इस चीज का मुझे बिल्कुल बुरा नहीं लगता." Clearly love this cheese, Laszlo. Time for me to introduce our first ever guest on Crypto Tales by CoinSwitch Kuber. He's a gamer, he's a techie. He's a CEO of his own firm, Global Esport. He was also one of the first few early investors in cryptocurrency. That makes him a crypto trader, a crypto analyst, and a crypto expert. And he's also a doctor. So excited to have with me our first ever guest on Crypto Tales by CoinSwitch Kuber. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rushindra Sinha. Rushi, so good to have you here.
Thank you
You're
so
our
much.
first guest. This is a new journey we're embarking upon. I hope you're equally excited to be here.
Yes, extremely excited, especially because we're going to be talking about crypto.
Yeah, make it a little less cryptic is what we intend to do. Yeah. But tell me, what's the overriding sentiment? Because you're a crypto trader, investor, early investor, if I may call it so,
yes,
but also a gamer, techie, and a doctor. What's the overriding emotion usually in your day life?
Oh, wow. So again, crypto is something I do on the side. It's not my main gig. My primary job is I'm the CEO and founder of Global Esports. We're one of Asia's fastest growing esports organizations. Crypto is something I've been doing on the side. And I think I entered the space in 2014. That was my earliest interaction with Bitcoin.
So how did the doctor become the gamer, or was it the gamer who became the doctor? Please solve.
Story hai, I come from a family of doctors. Growing up, my parents asked me, what do I want to be? I didn't know of any other option. Like, I didn't think of anything else. I was like, हाँ, doctor बनना है. It wasn't like I was forced into it. I just didn't know और कुछ बन सकते हैं. I was bitten by the tech bug, and I was bitten by the bug that I wanted to learn more in programming. So while I was in medicine, I was doing iOS and Android app development. I was working a lot on the coding side. I had my own freelance web design firm. No, so all this was while I was in medicine. So I was obviously spending more time on my computer than in the hospital. And that's when I knew I wanted to do something in the tech space. So the day I got done with medicine, packed up my bags, went to San Francisco. I was staying at this place called the Hacker House, which was literally just a collection of people like me from all across the globe that had come to follow their Silicon Valley dream of becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. And that's where I was introduced to cryptocurrency for the first time. This was in 2013 December.
Hacker House, bro, that's damn dodgy.
It was called the Hacker House, but that was just the startup culture coming up then, where it was just bringing a bunch of really smart people, putting them together in a house where they live together, they work together on projects, they find co-founders in each other, and then build companies together. That's really what the purpose was. So
with your CV, you would have been the head boy of the house.
No. I was probably the least qualified to be in that house. So in fact, that's where I met my roommates that introduced me to cryptocurrency. And at that time, I was like, bro, ye kya scam hai? Like, please explain this to me, because it sounds so dodgy that I'm giving you real money for a number that shows up in a random wallet somewhere. Uska karu kya?
Was that the overriding sentiment jo bakiyon ko bhi lag raha tha?
So that was also my sentiment. But of course, living in the Hacker House, one thing that I learned is that everyone else I was in touch with knew more than me. They had more information than me. And I would be absolutely stupid if I didn't listen to someone who knows more than me. Just because I don't understand it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get in. So when he told me, buy it, I immediately went in and bought my first Bitcoin. And when I told my now wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, when I told her that I just spent $200 to buy this Bitcoin, she was like, bro, someone just scammed you. Like, you've just been scammed. Like, तूने $200 किसी को transfer किया and they sent you what, virtual money? Is it like game currency? What are you even going to do with it? And I was like, I don't know yet.
One Bitcoin for it?
Yes, one Bitcoin at that time was $200.
In 2013.
End of 2013.
And then you're telling people like us you're not late to the party. It's already what, 240 times?
Yeah, so today it's what, 48,000. But to give you a reference, I got in when it was $200. My roommates got in when it was $1. So for me, I was already 200 times late to the party. So, yeah. So the reaction you're having now is what I had
This is a very sober reaction. I wish there was no camera on for the genuine reaction.
And actually, when he said that you wait and watch, the price is going to hit $1,000, I laughed. And I was like, bro, $200 hai. It went from $1 to $200. $1,000 sounds like a stretch. And he was like, you wait and watch. And I was like, sure, I'll wait and watch. And then it hit $1,000. And I remember I called him up and I was like, dude, it actually hit 1,000. He was like, next is 10,000, wait and watch. And the peak was 64,000 this year.
Let me come to the point of purchase of Bitcoin. ऐसे तो है नहीं कि जाके किसी supermarket में मिला होगा, right? And there was no CoinSwitch or any other exchange available. So how tedious was that process? How did you manage to buy your first Bitcoin?
It was fairly tedious. Obviously now it's a lot easier, but at that time there wasn't any exchange. So when we started, it was a direct peer-to-peer transaction. The entire thing from when he transferred the coin to it even showing up in my account took I think about 2 or 3 days. So 2-3 दिन I was like, bro, scam तो नहीं हो गया. Like अभी तक आया नहीं है. It shouldn't take this long. Why is it taking this long?
And this is obviously someone, right? Peer-to-peer transaction.
Yeah, it was peer-to-peer. So it was directly
you're
from...
a techie, you could verify everything. And there are a lot of people who have no idea how it's happening. So for them, it would have been, you've sent the money somewhere to someone and then the waiting game.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people would have been really scared. And I'm sure maybe a few would have been conned as well, or...
So there were quite a few scams that did happen early on. But again, that's where it's important for people to, DYOR, as they say in the world of crypto, do your own research. So always ensure you read up on everything and you know what's happening in this space, because in this space, information is power.
DYOR. I like that. That's kind of cool. I only used to think about BYOBs. Bring your own Bitcoin, that is. Huh? And to bring your own Bitcoin now, it's very easy. I don't need to worry about any peers. So I've been a little technologically challenged, but CoinSwitch has made my life very easy. Get the app. There's a KYC to be done. And if I can do it, anyone can. Please be impressed by my skills. And now on the app, Bitcoin obviously shows as the most popular currency. It's got its own separate tray. You just need to press it and then you can preview it. But the current price of Bitcoin and the balance in my wallet, they don't match.
You can buy any amount you want, as low as even 100 rupees.
Is that the lowest? So $100,
Yep.
and so I get a fraction of the Bitcoin?
Yeah, so you get a part of it, was what they call SAT. You get SATs, which is a smaller breakdown of Satoshis.
Okay, so let me go to buy. Again, I can see the market volatility, which of course is in any investment. I enter the amount for demonstration and goodwill purposes. I will start with 100. I can preview my buy, so I know that I haven't entered the wrong amount. It actually shows me exactly what fraction of a Bitcoin
so how many
I
sats
get.
is it right now for 100 rupees?
0.00002719.
So 2719. So that's how many? 100 rupees would be 2719 sats.
That's as of today. Yep. Drum roll. Buy!
Congratulations.
I can join BYOB parties now. Feels good, man. Feels good. I
Welcome to
waited
the
far
club.
too long.
As long as you're in, you're not late. The goal should always be to try and accumulate and get more Bitcoin. Think of it like a SIP or mutual funds. Keep putting in some amount every month, no matter how small it is. Like I said, $1,000 in 2011 would be 57 million today. So you started with 100 rupees. It could be as low as 1,000 rupees. Whatever you're willing to risk.
But tell me on the Hacker House, you said, Hacker House, mere dimag mein ghoom raha hai. I'm making like my own picture of the Hacker House. Satoshi Nakamoto, this name that has intrigued me the most, the developer of the Bitcoin. Mila wahan pe?
Nice. So no one knows who he is, and everyone just has conspiracy theories about where he came from and what he does.
Not even the Hacker House.
Not even the Hacker House. But someone else did come to the Hacker House, was Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum.
He was there when you were there?
Yes. So we overlapped about 6 weeks in the summer of 2014 when he was actually coding and building the Ethereum project.
Did he talk much? Did you get to...
Not as much as I would have liked. For us, he was this, this scrawny Russian kid that would be sitting at the kitchen countertop coding for 16 hours a day. He tried explaining to us what he was doing, but obviously, the concept of Ethereum and cryptocurrency in general is even high level now for a lot of people to understand. Back in 2014, when he was building it, it was even higher for us to understand. He kept saying, you'll get it one day. You'll get it one day.
But you were already invested in Bitcoin by then.
I was in Bitcoin. I had bought my first Bitcoin about probably 6 months before I met him.
So you knew he's working on a crypto technology.
I knew he was doing something in the crypto space. I didn't understand exactly what, because at that time there weren't too many other coins.
And these guys keep their secrets very close to their hearts, right?
No, I mean, in fact, quite the opposite. He would sit and open up the code and say, anyone else that wants to jump in, please come and help me out, because this technology is going to change the world. So it was quite the opposite. He would share the code base with a lot of people and say, I need more contributors. Anyone that can help me understand this, jump in. So I tried, but obviously for me, I was just getting into it and it was very, very high level. But a lot of the other people in the hacker house went on board and they became some of the earliest contributors to the Ethereum project. There were people that were working at Apple, Google, Microsoft, Lyft, Uber, Dropbox. A lot of them had their own startups. A lot of people are coming together to build new companies. Every single person was someone.
But tell me one thing, you're an early Bitcoin investor, then comes in Ethereum. Now there's obviously the Bitcoin community.
Right.
What's their take on Ethereum?
So I think the best way to explain is obviously Bitcoin came there first, and Bitcoin was the base on which every cryptocurrency technology is, derived from later. Although Ethereum is its own individual project, and now everyone uses Ethereum as a base when they're doing newer tokens or any new coins. But I do see everything transactional slowly moving over to Ethereum, especially now in the last few weeks with the NFT wave that's coming, the multi-billion-dollar NFT wave, which is all Ethereum based. I think Ethereum is what's the next big thing.
The next big thing. But Bitcoin is here to stay.
Absolutely. Bitcoin is here to stay. Bitcoin will be the store of value. Bitcoin will be what people get into. That will be their first entry into the world of cryptocurrency. And as they say, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's about less than 8 billion people on Earth. And that means there's not even one Bitcoin left enough for just the population of Earth right now. So Bitcoin is always going to be valued very highly, especially because of scarcity, the same way as gold. So I think that's a great place to begin. I wouldn't call it stable. It's the most reliable cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency in itself is very volatile, but in all this volatility, Bitcoin is the, I would say, safest. But I would always consider Bitcoin as a great entry point. And then whatever you want to transact or you want to trade in, convert it to Ethereum. Let the rest of it be stored in Bitcoin, forget about it for eternity.
All the next generation of these crypto coins that are coming, and they're now coming by the dozen, almost every second day, there is a new one which is splashing across headlines. Will any one of them potentially have the same story of Bitcoin, or now things will be different?
So, again, obviously Bitcoin was, as I said, the grandfather technology. That's what started it all. Every coin that has come subsequently is trying to fix the problems that Bitcoin has, whether it's a transaction fee, whether it's a transaction time, whether it's the ease of usability, whether it's adding other layers on top of it, like how Ethereum did. Everyone is trying to now figure out what they can do with cryptocurrency as a whole, with blockchain technology as a whole. I think even though we're about 12 years into this technology, it's still very early. It's like this is the first days of the internet. Think of this as the ABC days of cryptocurrency. We still have to see the great stories and novels written.
People are comparing it to the next .com boom.
Right.
Could this potentially be even bigger?
Oh, 100%. It kind of already is in a way, because if you just look at today's market cap value of Bitcoin, it has surpassed $1 trillion. I mean, that's more valuable than most companies on Earth and the GDP of a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And now you also have countries that are adopting Bitcoin. So it's just a matter of time. I always say it's not an if, it's a when.
How does crypto and esports today, as we stand, as global esports stands, how do the two come together to work and make the experience better?
So surprisingly, cryptocurrency, a lot of it, the thoughts, the concepts, the ideas have originated in video games, and gamers were the earliest adopters of cryptocurrency, and that's where our tie-in comes in very deeply. And now with global esports, of course, we have our teams that compete in tournaments internationally, and we have a star-studded roster, and we also host a lot of the large-scale events that happen across Asia. Now you have games that are being completely built on the blockchain. One of the most popular games right now, which has the largest market cap, is Axie Infinity. This space is going to be ripe and really boom the next decade. I think this is just the start. We are not at the peak, we're at the start.
Rushi, we've spoken about the good, the bad, but there is also the ugly.
Yes.
And things have gotten quite ugly for a lot of Bitcoin investors. From those reading on the outside, these crashes that have happened a few times. In fact, there was one earlier in May.
Yep.
There was one in 2017. At one point, 64,000, it fell to 28,000.
Yep.
How do you deal with these crashes?
So I was terrified the first crash, and then little less terrified the second crash. By the third one, I got used to it, and all of these were in 2014 itself. On average, cryptocurrency or Bitcoin crashes 4 times a year. I mean, if you look at it, earlier this year, it was 64,000 and then crashed down to 28,000 because of fear in the market and, market sentiment, which drives the price a lot. It crashed down to 28. Today, it's 48,000. So, it's really a factor of time, which is why I said, think of it more as a mutual investment where you're putting in a little amount every month, as opposed to putting all your money in 1 month and then hoping that you become a millionaire overnight. That's not going to happen. It happened to a few people, but everyone's only talking about those stories. Don't listen to just those stories. Understand that the market is very volatile. It moves a lot. Invest some amount regularly every month. Because, for example, if you had invested last year, this time, you would have gotten at $3,000. Then when it boomed, you would have gotten at $20,000. When it crashed, you would have again gotten, you would have gotten at 64,000, you would have gotten at 28, and as you did today, gotten at 48,000. So the goal is you average out eventually over time. This is a long-term game. Don't think of this as a get-rich-quick scheme. Think of this as a new technology that you're buying into very early on. And yes, 12 years in, we're still very early on. So think of yourself now as an early adopter of the technology, not of the currency.
Pardon me playing the role of a devil's advocate. Is this market sentiment not heavily dependent on a few individuals? Like we've seen Elon Musk comes out, he makes a statement, the price can go up and down. Now there are more big daddies like Mark Cuban putting their weight behind it sometimes. What is driving this market sentiment? Is it just not a few big entrepreneurs of the world?
Well, yes and no. One thing you do have to understand is that these guys, the names you said, Elon Musk and Mark Cuban, they're all really smart people, right? So as I said earlier on, I have a tendency to trust and believe smart people because I believe they know more than I do. So if they are banking on a technology, the least I can do is listen to them and then obviously DYOR, I will go research. I would recommend don't blindly buy into what everyone says, but make sure you read up about it and understand what the technology does. So be very, smart because this is high risk, high reward.
So we've spoken about the past. I have invested in the present. What about the future? Dr. Rushindra Sinha, tell me, have we seen the peak yet or there is a lot more in store in the near and the distant future?
Oh, peak? Absolutely not. I think we're not even getting started because less than 1% of the population is currently even able to comprehend what cryptocurrency is, let alone invest and buy it. As we see more people coming on board, I think we have a long way before it comes to mass adoption. Once we get to mass adoption, that's where we will start seeing the rise to peak. So we're a long way from peak. I think it's very, very early on still into the technology. And I say this because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is still 12 years young. So we have a long way to go, nowhere close to peak.
I feel so much better having invested a few minutes ago. Guessing I'm heading in the right direction, and
Absolutely.
so is the show. I don't think we could have asked for a better start. This is our first episode of Crypto Tales by CoinSwitch. We've got some incredible people who are lined up over the next few episodes. So don't just watch your episode.
No, obviously I'm waiting. No, I'm waiting for the next one itself. I want to see the episode of NFTs because I'm so active in the space now.
Fabulous, man. We'll catch up soon. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so
me.
much. Thank you.
Whoa, so that was our first ever guest, a techie, a gamer, an analyst, a trader, an entrepreneur, and a Dr. Rushindra Sinha. Hopefully you got something out of this episode and perhaps it's inspired you to make your first Bitcoin purchase or at least a fraction of it. I'm Jatin Sapru and I'm going to see you on the next episode of Crypto Tales by CoinSwitch, India's simplest and largest crypto trading platform. See you soon.